It's just under 48 hours since the Marine game. Obviously, I know you like to look back at things over and over. What are your reflections now you've in the cold light of day?
I think, Tim, it's been a long 48 hours because I couldn't wait for tonight to be able to put the wrongs right. Just behind your shoulder, there's about 8 points on the board there that need addressing. Over my shoulder, we're in black. You can see where the red lines go. That's where our players ended up on the zonal mark. Where they should have been is where the black stays. I think it was just a night of total mistakes from, every goal. The second goal is an absolute great strike, but they're just mistakes. Every single one, either through our own zonal marking, our own shape, our own naivety, our own kind of lack of decision making or lack of concentration, has led to 5 goals, which looks like we've had a real tonking. And I think, credit to Neil Young. He's come out and done his interview. He said that, we played really well, and we did. It possibly isn't a 5-1 game, even though they had, more chances than what the goals presented. For us, though, we've got to eliminate silly mistakes. They're not kind of mistakes that you can go, okay, they're mistakes that lead to goals, and goals punish you in games. So what we've got to do tonight is kind of not assume that the lads know where they're going to be on zonal markers, not assume that they're going to be able to pick the right pass in the game, but again, show them. And I'm fresh off the back of watching a documentary on Burnley Football Club, which talks about Vincent Kompany. And he's basically doesn't assume these players know anything. He reiterates in team meetings, in coaching sessions, in squad games. That's what we're going to do, because I'm not saying we assume that things are going to go right the other day, because we gave them the specific instructions, but without having that remote control, you can't move people into doing what you want them to do on the pitch. So one of them games, Tim, we've got to put it behind us, but what we can't do is not learn from it. The first half an hour of tonight's session is team meeting, looking over the goals, showing them the interviews, showing them what went right, what went wrong, and how we need to eradicate the issues going forward into the Stafford game on Saturday.
Yeah, like you say, Neil Young was incredibly complimentary about us. Basically, great footballing side. One of the things he referred to, he said that, his team started to gas, basically running out of energy towards the end of the game. Whereas, that's one thing watching it. I'm a fan as well as basically a volunteer for the club. Just the pride that the club took, the players took in basically keep going. Basically, it wasn't like the shoulders, the heads were down. They kept going to, and it just basically encouraging. I talked to someone who said, basically at half time, he was thinking, I'm not going to bother going to Stafford. But he said that second half performance made him want to go to Stafford just to sort of repay the energy and the thing that the fans put in, the players put in.
And I really appreciate that comment, because we did play well for large parts of the game. We did play well on Saturday. We have played well in pre-season. One thing that we are is a good footballing side, and no one can take that away from us. Even though I'm the manager and we coach it, we're a good footballing side. And when we get our fluidity, our passing right, our rotations right, we eliminate mistakes, we're good, but what we can't do is give one of the best sides in the league, if not the best side in the league from what I've seen so far in 2 games, a chance to go and put 5 past you. You just can't do that. And we've got some of the better sides coming up now in Radcliffe, in Macclesfield, in Ilkeston, in Stafford, who, if you present the opportunities to them, they're going to put another 4 or 5 past you. And as being young lads, slightly naive at times, we're going to surrender that. But credit to them, they didn't stop. The substitutions came on at half time. I thought they galvanised our performance. I thought we ran them right to the last minute. Many teams would quit and roll over at 5-1, but we didn't. I think Big Dec at the crossbar, at 5-1. We carried on going, and that, for me, is pleasing. So tonight's not about reset. It's not about, panic stations. It's about building on what we've done in pre-season, looking at what we did wrong on Tuesday night, and anyone who's worth the salt will do that. And then go and put on a real bounce training session, working on Stafford, because we've got footage on Stafford as well, and get on the coach on Saturday with a bounce, saying, played 2-1, lost 1. Let's go for it. And that's what the message is going to be clear tonight.
Yeah, in terms of on the bounce, you played 2 sort of unchanged sides in 2 games. Obviously, I know you don't often do that. A couple of players came on Tuesday night and made a great account themselves. Declan was the FCM Radio Man of the Match in the second half performance. Obviously, Guy came on as well. So I guess that's given you a lot of food for thought.
Kind of an Alex Ferguson thing. He never used to like naming the same 11, if you could help it. But we spoke as a staff, and I talked about changing 1 or 2, and maybe the 1 or 2 I could have changed, may have changed the outcome. That I don't know. But as a staff, they talked to me and said, how can we change it? We've won 3-0. But there was creaks, there was gaps on Saturday. Let's not kid ourselves. But we went with the same 11, and it definitely didn't work. It's one of them things that I don't like doing. Even if it's just a slight tweak, one position, it keeps people on the toes. There'll be changes Saturday. There has to be changes Saturday. I don't think you can go and concede 5 and maybe concede 2 against Worksop as well if it wasn't for Pat, and then say, that's okay, because that 11 that's played the last 2 games played at Nuneaton. They did really well. However, 8 of them 11 played at Stockbridge and maybe underperformed. So it may be looking at relationships. It may be looking at, the personnel we've got in there. There won't be wholesale changes, but there will be changes. And I think the substitutes have given a great account of themselves. I think, no disrespect to anybody, I think coming on at 4-0 down, it's easier than starting the game, because nothing you can do can go wrong because you're already 4-0 down. So that's nothing against Nick, Dec and Guy that came on, but it is easier coming into a game when you're 4-0 down and expressing yourselves. What we've got to do is make sure that we pick the right side on Saturday that's got a mix of experience and energy, but we don't shoot ourselves in the foot too early at Stafford, because they're going to be smarting. They've lost the first 2 games. I know Matty Hill's going to want to put one over on us, and when one of the biggest sides comes to town in FC United, then people do raise a game. So we've got to make sure we get it right, but we will be making, like I said, maybe 2 or 3 changes come Saturday. And the good news is we've got Curtis Jones back as well.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, it's fair to say both games have seen us play some really, really nice football, and not expecting that to change. So, basically, if you are thinking about going down, it's going to be a great game, basically. And the players always appreciate the sport. I mean, it's fair to say there was only one team singing at Marine on Saturday, over Tuesday night, all the way through, and at the end, and you could see that on the pictures.
And we knew that. And I said to the fans, I said to the players, the fans knew we'd give a good account of ourselves, and stayed and sang and clapped us off. And they know, I said in the interview after Tuesday, they know we've got a good side here, a young, hungry side that's going to have its down moments, going to have its up moments. But like I touched upon in the interview before, I'm watching this programme on Burnley, and they had setbacks in the season and they won it. They got beat 5-2 to Sheffield United. They got beat 6-0 against Man City in the FA Cup. But they didn't capitulate. They just went again, believed in what they do. We believe in what we do. Got a certain DNA, a certain style of play, and we won't change that. So, get yourselves to Stafford. I know there's a really good section in Stafford where they put the away fans, and we're really noisy, and I'm sure that we'll travel there, 200 or 300 would be great. And we get, come quarter to 5 and get another win, it's 6 from 9 or it's 4 from 9, and our points total remains on target. What we can't do is have that kind of hangover going into Saturday now, and it's my job and the staff's job to get that out of the players' heads, get it out of their legs tonight in training, and get us set for Stafford. But I, for one, can't wait. You always can't wait for the next game, but after a thumping, you can't wait even more. So training will be good tonight, and we'll hopefully see everyone at Stafford on Saturday.
Congratulations, Dec. You've been chosen as the FCUM Radio Man of the Match, sponsored by Joseph Holtz. Some achievement, obviously, coming on and playing 45 minutes second half. Frustrating night for the club, but for yourself personally, coming off the bench and putting a performance in like that, it must have felt good.
Yeah, it was nice, obviously, coming on second half. It's always good to get personal accolades, obviously man of the match, but just a shame we never got the 3 points on the night. I thought first half, especially, we were unlucky for 15-20 minutes. I thought we started really nicely, playing some nice stuff, and then a couple of individual errors and set pieces cost us. Obviously not a nice scoreline, but I think there was some positive take from the game.
Yeah, I mean, one of the positives really for me basically was the fact that the team didn't look like they were 4-0 down. Basically, we were playing with confidence, basically great play, and playing with pride in the shirt.
Yeah, I think we've got a really good group in the changing room, and even though the scoreline wasn't a great one, we never stopped going, and we carried on till the end and kept giving it our all. And I think even at the second half, at 4-0 down, we were creating chances, and we had a number of chances towards the end of the game. Their keeper pulled off a few good saves, but I think, as I said, there are positives to take from the game that we can take into this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, your performance in particular, I mean, you were very much on the front foot in that midfield, weren't you? Sort of busting through the lines, and you got a couple of shots away. That free kick that you took, basically, just I mean, you've got that in your locker. I mean, that was it was so unfortunate. It just pinged off the bar.
Someone who likes taking set pieces, I fancied that one. It was in a good position. Unfortunately, it was just the width of a bar from going in. But as the gaffer said to me just before I went on, he just said try and get on the ball, make things happen. Obviously, the scoreline wasn't great, but just try and keep doing the right things and the messages he wants us to do on the pitch. Just try our best to do that.
Yeah, and obviously, it's your first competitive game for FC United. Playing a very good side in Marine, obviously going to be one of the championship favourites. you didn't look at a place at all?
No, obviously, and that's why I wanted to sign for the club. Obviously, playing them types of games against good sides like that, and test myself at this level. Coming from Scam last year, the division below, I feel like it was the right time to come here, try and test myself, and hopefully I can carry on giving a good account of myself in the games to come, as I did on Tuesday night.
Players were playing with pride. It was evident that, basically, how do you think that's going to convert into training and then Stafford on Saturday?
Yeah, I think coming from Tuesday's game, we can't be down. The lads have come in tonight in good spirits despite the result on Tuesday. Hopefully we'll train well tonight, have a good session, get tempo nice and high, and then hopefully we can take what the manager wants us to do into Saturday's game and hopefully get 3 points on the board and then take that into the following week.
That's what we want to hear. Congratulations once again. You're the FCM Radio The Man of Match, sponsored by Joseph Holtz. Thanks. See you Saturday.
Cheers very much, Tim. Thank you.